Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We want to speak about the current happening in the country, the Devolution Conference that brings about 48 governments, one national government, and the 47 county government. The Devolution Conference is taking place in Homa Bay County. This particular week, we will be discussing about what is it that we have done since 2013, the advent of devolution with the new Constitution of Kenya that was passed in 2010. To join us, discuss this issue in depth and detail is Mr. Odoyo Owili, a political analyst and a regular commentator. Thank you so much for joining me, Mwalimu.
Thank you, my brother.
I really appreciate your presence here today.
You know, you are a great man. Wherever you find me, we have to talk about national issues.
That is definitely. We can't skip about it.
Yes.
So, Mwalimu, the conference is taking place at Homa Bay. It is over 10 years since devolution came to be. What are the benefits that we have realized as a country in terms of the devolution that we have since the promulgation of the Constitution?
Thank you. I'm very grateful that you have not confined the question to Homa Bay.
Definitely.
You have made national, and
yes.
more so, you have asked me a general question that needs very specific answers.
Yes.
First of all, we need to look at the take-homes and the benefits of the devolution.
Definitely.
So that people who have not benefited and think it was not worthy having devolution can see where we come from. First of all, devolution was brought about because initially it was thought that we in the country are having national cake concentrated in certain regions where the president or certain ministers came from. And so the opposition then thought we should have devolution so that we devolve resources to the county. Then came the time of creating the counties. It was very difficult to create the counties as they are today because we had initially thought we needed very few counties. And actually even the very people who thought about devolution thought we should have them along the old provinces. Then within the old provinces, there are many people who thought that there are certain communities that are marginalized in those provinces. For example, if we had the old Nyanza province, you would have had the Kisii feeling marginalized within because the Luo would be the majority. So would be in a few other counties like what we have in the Rift Valley, in the coast, and in such regions. So in such circumstances, it was thought that now let's make them a little bit smaller. And they were made smaller to an extent that some constituencies, I think like Lamu, are almost as small as a constituency in some counties. Nevertheless, what we intended to happen was to devolve resources to the counties. When resources are devolved to the counties, it is not just the development brought about by those resources. It is also the expenditure of money in those areas, development in those areas, employment in those areas. So I must say devolution has brought about a lot of things. It has devolved resources, it has devolved development, it has also devolved employment opportunities, but most of all, which people don't even notice, it has devolved awareness. It has also devolved what we would call exposure. There are many people that it is during the devolution that they started getting exposed to a government running close to them. They got exposed to expenditure being incurred by the government close to them and decisions being made close to them. So it is also something that promoted the old councillors into MCAs. So those are very good things about devolution.
Yeah.
Now, the individual expenditure of these devolved resources now depends from one county to another. If you find a county where they have decided to be corrupt with it, nothing reaches the people directly in form of development. Those who have decided to work for the people and do the correct thing. There are some people who appear to be working very well for the people, but they are not doing the correct things. Unfortunately, the people who are supposed to oversight devolve the government Many of them have no capacity to evaluate.
Why?
Many of them have no capacity to evaluate the actual work done for them by the resources brought to them, because they must have a mathematical thinking to see what is the difference between 1,000, 100,000, a million, a billion, and a trillion. If the majority of the people cannot appreciate those differences, it is going to be very difficult for them to evaluate what the county government is doing for them and what they are being told is done.
Now, you have also gone to the next question that I was about to ask you. There's a lot of cry, especially from the citizenry and even our institution. So even the latest was the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, saying that they have at least 6 governors under their radar in terms of mismanagement of public resources. So my question would be, did we devolve corruption or mismanagement of public resources?
I think saying that 6 governors in their radar is a serious understatement. To be honest and precise, exactly all the 47 counties have very serious corruption issues. Actually, we did not just devolve resources. In the process of devolving resources, we also decided to devolve government. When you devolve government, because the central government was corrupt, you have also inadvertently devolved corruption. And unfortunately, unknown to many people, the level of corruption in the county government, percentage-wise, is much, much higher than the national government. The national government has certain obligations to certain groups of people that it must do before it even starts thinking of corruption. It must first pay teachers, policemen, all these uniformed people, public servants, let us say, before it starts thinking of even corruption. It has to release funds to all the 47 devolved units. There are many, and even release funds to pay external debt and even internal debt, which are first charged on the exchequer. Once all that is done, what is left to be corrupted now is limited. But when you go to the counties, some of those countries are almost being corrupted the whole amount. And that is something people must go back and see. From where I sit, I would have wished that we devolve the resources without devolving the governments, like in the CDF. In the CDF, you have devolved the fund, you have devolved resources. And then once the resources have gone down, the area MP helps form a small committee to decide what is to be done and what is not to be done, so that there are fewer people to be corrupt with the fund. But in the counties, we have devolved the whole government, a whole infrastructure of human resource, of which sometimes you find for a project, the corruption begins with the governor and it ends with the last person with the hoe to do the road. And in the end, people rarely get what they deserve. And in that process, people will be told, we have done for you this, we have done for you that, but it is not commensurate with the total resources revolved. But because the people don't know, they can't evaluate. For example, you find a governor will come and say, I had built for you ECD classes, 100 of them. When you look at 100 ECD classes, each built at 500,000, you find it is just about 55 million. I mean 50 million. 50. What is 50 million on a development expenditure of say, of 4 billion or 2 billion or 3 billion? Because the people are incapable of knowing what they ought to achieve from that. But sometimes I would like my people to look back and say, when we go for Harambe and collect 2 million, many times it is enough for us to build a church for very many people. Or we collect 5 million. Look at the church you build with a local Harambe that you did, that gave you, say, 5 million. And look at the development expenditure, say, for a county which has 5 billion for development. Has what they have built comparable to 5 million, 500,000, 5 million churches times 1,000. Because a billion
Yeah,
is 1,000 million.
that's true.
So if you have a development expenditure of 5 billion, and you look at what you build with 5 million in the form of a church, a great church, you need 1,000 of such churches for that money to be properly used. Do we get anything like that? Or we go telling people, because we have donated to you seeds to plant, we have donated for you this, which sometimes the country also got as a donation. Then you clap that governor anafanya kazi. That is the problem we have. People are incapable of knowing what to expect. Worse still, before you ask the next question, are the oversight team, which is the MCAs. The governors have influenced the election of some MCAs who are incapable of even writing their own name. So even if you give them a report of the expenditure or a report of the budget, they are unable to internalize it. They would rather listen to what the governor is saying and be satisfied that something is being done, because they are incapable of understanding things on their own and bringing the governor to account for it. That is the problem we have in the counties today.
So you have actually elaborated some of the basic problems that are being experienced in our counties. But when you, during the budget allocation for counties, you realize that after each and every trickling down of the money, the county government, through the chairman, the council of governors, come and say, we have not received money. We have not received enough. So what is really happening? Is there no harmonious working between the counties and the national government?
Let's look at it this way. The national government collects money from citizens, both corporate and individuals, progressively. You don't have the whole of the Kenyan budget at once at Treasury. In January, you have a certain amount. In April, you have a certain amount. So the counties must also receive it progressively. So it has to delay. Even money that goes to corporations also delay, because you can't receive it all together. So when you hear county government saying we have not received, of course they have not received because the central government has also not received. The central government must receive that money, put it in their budget template, and see what ought to go to which county at what time. Now that is why money gets delayed. But the problem is that is more of an excuse than a reason, because you find a county saying we have 3 billion pending bills, we have 2 billion pending bills, we have 600 million pending bills, because we have the money has not come from the national government. Yeah. But when you look at the money that is due to come from the national government, or that is they are being owed, is peanuts compared to what they owe. And even when they finally, the payment has been made, you still find they owe. So I think saying that they have not received money from the national government is an excuse rather than a reason.
An excuse rather than a reason. But when you look critically, the county governments have been consistent. Each and every financial year, they cry. I mean, you come to ask yourself, and even, of course, pending bill is a very big problem, especially in our counties. And you ask yourself, why can't we pay these people? I mean, the money is there. Why can't the county government just, why?
Let me give you a more interesting aspect to it. All counties, all state corporations, all state departments, they have a budget.
Yes.
And PFM Act, you have to go by that budget.
Yes.
And you can only budget with what you have or to what you hope to have, what you have budgeted for. So a county that has budgeted with, say, 15 billion can only spend 15 billion and can only expect to receive 15 billion. So why do we have pending bills? You budgeted for 15 billion. Even if it delayed, you finally got that 15 billion, but you have pending bills. That means somebody within the county government is breaking the law, the PFM Act. Somebody is breaking the law. And nobody seems to notice it. So that is why when you tell me that there are some 6 counties, 7 counties on the radar of EACC, that is a serious understatement. The county government have generated 47 kings and queens who are untouchable. In fact, they are untouchable because the public has raised their heads in the air to look at the national government without thinking of these very county governments down here, which are looting their money to the last cent. When you were young, we used to have a game that we used to play. You are told to look up in the air to see a bird. Of course, there's no bird, but somebody will hit your throat. We were taught that do not focus up when down here there is danger. We are busy focusing on the national government when down here there is serious danger of looting all our resources to the end. Nevertheless, that is not a very good reason to do away with devolution, but it needs review.
What kind of review or restructuring that you would propose so that we have an effective devolution that benefits the people?
I am the father of extreme views.
Yeah, I know.
My views are almost very extreme, and even the ones I would have liked now, they would not. They would really fight it. Number one, I had said we should have devolved resources, not government. But now that I know it will be fought so and it will not go through, what we can do today, the government through its legislative arms should have legislation to fix the number of possible employees in any county or in any department in a county.
We have the human capital department in each and every country.
We do have, but they will not follow that. We need to fix it so that we don't have 13 markets and you have 600 revenue collectors, of which some of them are used by governors and county officials as goods that they use against opponents. First of all, even this idea of having enforcement officers in counties, I doubt whether it is necessary in certain counties. There are certain things that the police can do well, and the officers that are, say, revenue officers or inspection officers are capable of doing that in collaboration with the police, other than getting people who are poorly trained to come and interact with innocent traders. Nevertheless, it's already happening, but I think the most radical thing that ought to be done now is fix those who can possibly be employed in counties and fix what can possibly be paid to employees of counties in terms of the grand total. And also, there is a law here which we don't follow very much in procurement and development. It is illegal not to have an end-to-end planning. For example, it is illegal to build a maize factory without planning where the maize is going to come from. It is illegal to give people seeds to plant a certain crop when you have not planned where they will take the crop. Those are things you must look at. But because some of these people are politicians and they would like to show the people they are doing work, they go and do whatever they can do, even if it will end nowhere. For example, there was a time in Homa Bay, the then Governor Cyprian Awiti had given people hatcheries. You know what those are?
Yes.
For hatching eggs. He did not tell them where the eggs are going to come from. And even if they got them from wherever they got them, he did not tell them where they are going to take the hatched eggs. And he did not receive business plans from them showing what they're going to do, but he gave them. They haven't times women were given saloon things, even people who do not know how to do hair. So those are some of the things that are unnecessary and are illegal. If I want to do something for my people, I must plan end to end. How and where the money is going to come from, what it's going to do, what is expected of the people so that they benefit from the project. But if you go and construct a bulk water system, but you have not planned how this water will finally be distributed to the people, you are going to end up with billions of liters of water in tanks which will not reach the people for 10 years. That money is wasted. If you spend 10 billion in a water system and the water does not reach the people in 10 years, do you know the damage? That original 10 billion is wasted. So that is what we are talking about, end-to-end planning.
So end-to-end planning. Currently, the Devolution Conference it started today, and it will be ongoing for this whole week. What are some of the benefits probably now, because it's taking place in Homa Bay County, that the Homa Bay citizen might reap from the Devolution Conference itself?
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to believe that is my last question. One thing you need to know, that Devolution Conference is going to benefit very many people in and around Homa Bay, especially businessmen. But for the very people who organized it, they are not going to get any benefit. In fact, Devolution Conferences are talk shows. They are talk shows. They are like the old agricultural shows that we used to have that are local that never used to get anywhere. They are like the investment conference we had in Homa Bay 2 years ago. Today, there's not a single person who has invested. These devolution conferences are showcases where governors show themselves, display themselves among each other. There is nothing that comes out that changes the lives of the people. Nothing. They are talk shows. But the businessmen in and around the host county will definitely benefit. Some of the resolutions which come from these devolution conferences, 1 week after the conference, people forget about them. I went to the first devolution conference in Bomet, I think in 2018. Then I was chairman Lake Basin Development Authority. And one of the things that those governors came shouting about is that regional development authorities be dissolved so that they take over the assets and responsibilities. Now, what they forgot is that those regional development authorities did what is called cross-cutting projects that would benefit several counties in the region. But that was not all. They are better managed because they have bosses stream up to the president. Hand it over to the county government. Nobody would even audit you. You will think that you handed over, say, Lake Basin Mall to Kisumu County. And it would even go to private hands. So I think even thinking of handing over regional development authorities to counties was a wrong thing. Then I actually stood up and actually opposed it. I was in that panel representing my minister with Governor Asanga, Governor Nyongo, Governor Sang of Nandi, and so on. Yeah. And I told them off because you people receive so much money. Lake Basin probably receives less than $1 billion in a year. And we can see the multi-billion things it has done. Okay. But the county governments, which are receiving tens of billions of money, up to now, the year is over and we can't see anything you have done. So that is how the debate ended. But I stopped I stopped them in their tracks. But now I see things may change.
Okay. Before we go, I have 2 questions for you. One, is the Devolution Conference listed? We have been doing it every year.
Judging it by what is the outcome of every devolution conference, it is unnecessary and it is a waste of resources.
Waste of resources.
We probably could do other things like maybe investment conferences. And in fact, we should take the investment conferences we have in counties, merge it with the devolution conference, and have it something that is called devolution awareness and also devolution review, where we see what have we achieved, what do we need to change to achieve better.
Wow, that's good. Now, on a lighter note, there were reports that at least 50,000 condoms were taken to Homa Bay. Why?
I think they could have been taken anywhere. Even if the devolution conference went to Mombasa, they could have been taken to Mombasa. If it went to Nandi, they could have been taken to Nandi because, we are getting guests and we are having our local men and women there. So there would be interaction. But I think it was not something worth announcing to the public. It was just a precaution that we should have had privately.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother.
Now, that is Mr. Deo Widi, a political analyst and a regular commentator, talking about devolution, taking stock of what has happened and why, or should we have even devolution, and what is next as a post-devolution. My name is Emmanuel Oma, and this